Welcome to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. What does finding health look like for you? Do you have a vision for your future self and a way to get there? I'm Dr. Kris, and after 33 years in functional medicine and a lifelong journey through brain health, weight loss, hormones, mindset, and faith, I know that real transformation doesn't come from willpower or white knuckling your way to wellness. It comes from gratitude, honoring your body as the temple that God created. This show is about body stewardship, not shame. It's about rewiring your mindset, your metabolism, and your spirit to find lasting health without the grind. I'll help you cut through the noise, see opportunities instead of obstacles, and finally live the healthy, purposeful life you were created for. Let's spark faith and transformation together. Spark Faith starts now. Hey, everyone. I am Dr. Kris Sargent. Welcome back to the Spark Faith Show. And if you haven't joined us in the past, welcome. Today, I am going to share a little bit more about my own experience, like I did last week. And we're going to talk about regulation and dysregulation and how the heck did I get here? Right? How many times have you asked yourself that, whether it's something emotional or physical or spiritual? Like you ask yourself, like, how did I get here? And it can be in a good way, right? But it could also be in a way that you're like, oh, the question sounds more like, oh, how did I get here? Right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about physically, how do we get here? But, functional medicine incorporates all those big pieces and parts of our emotions and our environment and, just our circumstances, our spiritual life, all of those, our mental and emotional health, like all of those pieces get rolled into this thing, right? So if we focus mostly on how we feel today, it's gonna encompass a lot more than just that, though, when you really step back and take a look at it. And so really the core idea today is that the body gradually adapts to the environment that we repeatedly give it. And I know that I have said this before. We're going to take a little different turn on this. And that is because dysregulation rarely happens overnight, right? It's just one small adaptation at a time. And we're gonna end on like this really big place of hope, because the same body that adapted towards dysfunction can adapt back towards good regulation and health, right? So I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question, and maybe not the question that you think, but if you'll just stop for a sec, right? When was the last time you felt absolutely amazing? Like, get up in the morning, not really achy. You get out of bed pretty easily, right? Like, don't have to have that cup of coffee, right? So just stop for a second and take inventory of how you really feel, right? Are your shoulders all tight, right? Are your joints achy? Are you hungry, right? Are you actually really tired and can't or won't admit it? Um, does life feel like, ladies, does life feel like all you do is get up, can't get to your coffee fast enough so you can wake up, get the kids out the door, go to work, work all day, run around with the kids, have dinner, and finally like sink into the couch trying to watch your show and you just crash out? Right? Only to wake up and do it again the next day. Or maybe you're a guy and you're in that same cycle, right? You just get up, have your coffee, go to work, like see your kids, but you're not really present. You're just sort of like walking through life, looking at it like you're just seeing a movie of your life, right? Kind of brain foggy, not all together, right? So when ask you, when was the last time you absolutely felt amazing? Not like, oh, I'm okay, right? Or I felt worse, right? Not like, well, I guess this just feels like what getting older feels like. I mean, when was the last time when you really woke up rested and had energy and your head was clear and you felt strong and you felt excited about your day and your body just felt good? Not like you had to push through mud, right? So, can you remember? Or has it been so long that you've kind of forgotten what it even feels like to feel good? So, one of the things I've noticed after more than 30 years of caring for y'all, patients, clients, is that very few people can actually tell me when they stopped feeling well. They'll say, well, it just seemed like it just happened, or I don't really know. Or one day I just woke up and I just didn't feel like myself. Here's what's fascinating, right? When we begin to talk through their story, right? When I take a history as a functional medicine doctor, I like to make a timeline. And so when we begin going through their story, decade by decade by decade, it almost never happened in one day. It happened over years, right? It's that one stressful season where you compromised yourself and ended up with having poor sleep or drive through dinners longer than the season maybe required, or skipped workouts, right? Maybe addiction became part of your story, or some poor choices that just basically turned into a habit, the path of least resistance, right? And again, this is not about feeling bad about yourself. This is not to shame anyone ever, right? Not ever. This is an exercise in becoming more aware of how you got to where you are right now in your health, right? Maybe it was just one hard pregnancy or one really challenging promotion at work or a season of caregiving, right? That's when mine really started to happen where, yes, I was going to the gym. Yes, I was eating healthy, but I was doing the same things that I had been doing in my early 50s, like carrying all those things through, whether they were working or not, because I wasn't paying attention to my health. I was taking care of my mom who had dementia at my house. So, and she was always there and she needed care and she needed somebody with her and all those pieces, if you've ever been through it or know somebody who's been through it. It was just one adaptation after another, building on other adaptations over time, right? Until I just really realized that I was not feeling my best, right? And that not feeling my best became my new normal, right? It just becomes our new normal. And then we just don't see it anymore. It's like when you drive to your kid's school or the gym or the grocery store, right? You don't even know how you got there, right? Because you've laid down this track in your brain and you don't even realize like, oh, it's just that's how we got there. It's normal. So our health declines so slowly that this new normal is down here instead of where it used to be. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about how that happens, and because understanding how we got here might be that first step to that a little bit more awareness around what's going on in your world and waking up to that first step of getting somewhere that's better than where you are right now. right? So I call this the slow drift, right? That makes complete sense. We just start kind of drifting off our path. And a lot of us think of illness as a lightning strike, right? It just happens. And that's, for the most of us, that's uh, how health happens or doesn't happen, right? We get a cold or we get the flu or, maybe you get cancer or you have a heart attack and it's just this acute happened right now. But in reality, 70% or more, maybe 80 to 90% of the diseases that particularly Americans have right now are chronic. These really are more like the tide coming in from low tide, right? You don't really notice it until, right? It's like, oh, look, it's all the way up the shore. And your body works much the same way, right? You don't just wake up one morning and you're insulin resistant, right? Or you don't just, well, you might just wake up one morning and have hot flashes. That's true. But anyway, um, and you probably saw it coming, honestly, if we're really honest with ourselves, right? We probably saw it coming. So, what about the inflammation, right? You might not even feel inflammation. You might not even realize that you have inflammation. You might not realize how exhausted you are or that you have high blood pressure. It's a silent killer, right? Instead, you just adapt to how you feel. And every day, your body is going to ask you one question, right? Given the environment that you've placed me in, right? Your body talking to you, what do I need to do to help you survive today? And y'all, we've talked about survival and thriving and all those things. So I don't want to dive into that like that. I want to have this episode be more like, oh, I didn't realize that thing XYZ was part of what's happening with me or what happened to me, right? Because you have one night of poor sleep, that's fine. You'll compensate, right? Short period of high stress, you'll compensate. Too little movement for a couple weeks, you'll compensate. Ultra processed food for one meal a week, not a problem. Too little recovery, you can compensate for that for short periods of time, right? The bigger problem comes in where now you have too little muscle, right? And your metabolism is being run by the habits that have been slowly but surely eroded away into different habits that don't support a healthy body, right? And that compensation is starting to break down. And now you have symptoms and you may or may not even realize that you have those symptoms, like falling asleep at 6:30 or 7 o'clock on the couch. Even if you're getting up super early, you eat and you just crash out. Like that's not healthy, right? That's not healthy. Um, it's it- this is where I think we can justify things, right? Your body doesn't wake up every morning going, "Wow, how can I make life harder for my human?" Right? It wakes up like, again, given what we've got here, how can I help you survive, right? And so the body isn't just trying to stay the same. It's really just trying to stay alive. So, and that distinction can shift some things, right? Your symptoms that you don't even realize you might be having right now because you're not aware that these are symptoms. Um, it's like your body is taking notes, right? Y'all know in seminary, right? I take notes, take notes, take notes, but eventually I have to create a paper out of that, right? And so your body's been taking notes, and eventually it's going to hand you a report, right? So anyway, this is where we get into a lot of dysregulation justification, right? Dysregulation justification. And this is the part that breaks my heart for my clients because after a while, we stop noticing. I stopped noticing, right? And that new normal that's down here is dysregulation justification. It's the collection of all the stories. Here's what this mental and emotional health comes in. It's a collection of all the stories we've told ourselves to explain to ourselves why we don't feel well anymore, right? And we're believing lies. And we talked about the lies that I believed around under eating and losing weight and becoming smaller and all of those things that were literally terrifying, right? But they were lies. And so, what lie are you believing? I'm just getting older. I'm just a mom. Stop, y'all, right? You're not just anybody, right? You are a child of the Most High God. You are made in his image, all right? You are not just anything. So I'm just busy. Everyone is tired, right? Oh, that it's my menopause. It's menopause. Well, my whole family was overweight, right? I've always just had so much anxiety, and I'm not saying that is not a key thing. It probably is. And getting to the root of it may shift your whole life, right? Oh, I've just never slept well. That's the biggest excuse I hear is, well, that's just how I am. And here's the danger, right? Those statements begin as explanations, but eventually they become your identity. So let me say that again. That whole dysregulation justification begins as explanations, but they eventually become your identity. And identity determines behavior. If I believe this is simply who I am, why would I expect anything else to change? Right? Our brain loves efficiency. When it becomes familiar, it's like this well-worn path. Think of the path to your grocery store, your favorite sidewalk that you hike every day, or a hiking trail that is well-worn, right? You don't have to pay attention. There's not any roots in the way. You can just get there. Everything's fine. And so once something becomes familiar, it stops paying attention. And that's true with our behavior, right? And it's true with our emotions, and it's true with our physical symptoms. We don't just normalize dysfunction. Eventually, we defend it, right? We don't just normalize dysfunction. Eventually, we defend it. Our body really whispers before it screams. And this is one of my favorite things um, about the human body. But it's also one of the reasons why we ignore it is because it doesn't talk loud, right? It whispers a long time before it screams. And maybe again, it starts with some digestive thing or sleep or afternoon fatigue, or you don't recover well and you just ignore it and you work out harder. Maybe those workouts are feeling harder. Maybe you're a little more irritable and moody. Maybe you just like don't want to do things. You're unmotivated. Maybe you started avoiding stairs because your knees hurt or this happened or that happened. And none of those little things seem like emergencies, but each one of those is a piece of information, right? So let's not ignore that. And the body is going to communicate through symptoms, but they're not enemies, they're just messengers. So we don't want to silence the messenger without asking, why are you here? What are you trying to tell me? Right. And if we try to silence all the symptoms, then we're going to miss what the body has been trying to tell you all along. So our beautiful God designed our body to communicate. And part of stewardship is paying attention to the communication, right? If your kid or your favorite person fell down and skinned their knee, and you're like, you just ignore it, right? Like you wouldn't do that. So stewardship means paying attention. So here's the key though, right? I'm not going to leave you down here feeling crappy about all this stuff today. And shame and guilt have no place in this conversation. So if you've already all of a sudden been like, "Oh my goodness, I did not realize that that's what was happening and how I got here." This is not to make you feel bad about your choices. This is to say you can make, I made, we can make different choices, right? We can make different choices. Your body can learn from you every single day. Regulation or dysregulation isn't one big decision, usually, right? It's an accumulation of small decisions over time. And here's the part I don't want you to miss. Again, everything that I've described can sound really discouraging, but it can actually give you a tremendous amount of hope because that adaptation works both ways. If it adapted to dysfunction, it can adapt towards health. Not overnight, because dysregulation didn't happen overnight either, right? But consistently, right? Consistently, we did things and we ended up very dysregulated. Now, consistently, we need to, that well-worn trail, we need to take a sharp right turn and grab some new tools and forge a new trail, literally, right? We're going to have to cut down some trees. We're going to have to wear waders so that we don't get poison ivy. And we're going to have to move through some challenges that we might not have seen to forge that new trail. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you're going to want to turn around and go back to the comfy trail, right? However, you know where the end of that trail is, right? So this does not happen overnight. It happens with consistency. And progress is so much more impressive than perfection, right? So every workout can teach a new adaptation. Every healthy meal teaches adaptation. Every good night's sleep teaches adaptation. Every walk, protein for breakfast, stress management, like taking a 5 minute like breathing break in the middle of your day. Every act of stewardship gives your body some new information. And really, the coolest, most remarkable thing is your body will listen to that too. It's never too late. And it's not going to listen to one perfect day. Oh, I did great yesterday, so today I deserve. Or it's not going to listen to that one perfect day. It's going to listen to the repeated patterns. So, what are you repeating? What are you repeating? My change didn't happen overnight, y'all. I had to trust the process. I talked about that last week. You can go listen to my episode from last week. Um, about the new foundation that I'm having to trudge out, right? A new path for myself. The confidence about that didn't change overnight. My strength definitely has not changed overnight. It has been 3 to 4 times a week in the gym for the last 18 or 20 weeks. This is not something that's going to happen in a moment. My metabolism is shifting. That's it is in process, right? Little by little, my body's adapting to a healthier environment, and so will yours. I'm 62. Most of y'all are probably younger than me. So if I can, you can. um, so your future health is being built on the patterns that you repeat today. And 20 years down the road, you will reap whatever you sow today. And if you're realizing that, wow, I have definitely fallen into this spiral and I want to get out of it, hey, give me a shout out on Instagram or Facebook, you can grab a free session with me and we can talk about it, right? And that's one way to start pulling out of some of these things. And the cool thing about scripture is that stewardship is found almost every time in ordinary stuff, right? It's daily, consistent, faithful in the little things. And our health is so much like that. You'd think that God designed it, right? And it's not about earning God's love. We're responding to it like, hey, God did give me this body, and maybe I haven't taken care of it the way I need to, or maybe I didn't realize that this is a way to gently worship him and respect what he's given, this gift of our health and gift of our body, right? By faithfully caring for this great gift that he entrusted to us. So just one little decision at a time. So if today you realize that you've slowly drifted, right? The slow drift, again, you do not need to feel guilty about this. I want to encourage you because your story isn't over. That same incredible body that has spent years adapting to survival can begin to adapt towards thriving, right? A new life of thriving. And not one giant aha, not any of that, but hundreds of small, faithful decisions every day. And honestly, Living Fresh is always about that, right? This is progress is more impressive than perfection, not quick fixes. So anyway, I know that you all rarely notice the slow drift into dysregulation because our bodies are designed to adapt. But that same adaptive capacity that carried you into dysfunction can carry you back towards health through consistent and faithful stewardship. Right? So, love you guys. Hit subscribe and like and reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. And this is all about renewing your health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Love you guys. Bye bye. See you next week. You've been listening to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on the Transformation Talk Radio for more simple, faith-fueled steps to live the vision God placed in your heart. Are you ready to take the next step? Schedule a discovery call or connect with me at drkrissargent.com. That's DRKRIS Sargent.com. While you're there, download my free ebook, Endless Energy, the 6 non-negotiable keys to endless energy, and sign up for an upcoming masterclass. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the show, and I'd love to connect with you on social media at Dr. Kris Sargent. Let's keep sparking faith and transformation together. Can't wait to see y'all next time.